The seniors at Honor Sunday, and what has this group meant to you and meant to the program?
Yeah, we don't really know still. I mean, those are things we try not to think about, just because we just want them all to use all their eligibility, right? So I'm not really sure who is and who isn't considered a senior. I mean, this is another year with the group with the COVID extension. But yeah, I mean, it's been a great group of guys and a lot of fun. Great competitors, good people. So just like every year, it's sad to see people move on, but at the same time, they're not meant to be here. They want to move on with their life, and then a new group of kids coming in, so it just keeps rolling.
Speaking of using eligibility, you would have Carter, Bo, and Greg eligible to come back.
Yeah.
Do we then entirely up to them, or do you offer this?
Well, I think, unwanted advice usually doesn't go very far. Of course, we want them all back, but that's something I think we'll discuss once the season's over. But yeah, I mean, we're just we're focused on March right now. Edinboro this weekend, and then Big Ten and Nationals. Those other things they'll get sorted when the time comes.
Is there a lot of guys still on the roster that still get that COVID eligibility?
I think this would be the last group, so I don't know how many specifically, but there's a handful for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Could you imagine Cael wrestling for 6 years in college? Could you imagine that?
I haven't really thought about it from my own perspective necessarily. I mean, I think it's just different for each kid and where they were and where they, what it looked like for them. Even our guys, it's a different experience, but it's just a different time. I think that, and I think the kids are more prepared to compete right away too. We've discussed that before. So, but it seems like most of the kids are taking the full opportunity to use their years, and there's benefits to doing that now that are new to college sports, as we know. So, but yeah, it's definitely got to be something they want to do. If you don't want to. I mean, we put a lot of time and effort and energy and hard work, and you got to want to be here.
Coach, how's Aaron doing?
Nagao?
Yes.
He's doing good. I think we'll have him back on the mat towards the end of the week. He just, we just have, I'm sure every program's the same, so, you don't want to be the complaining program. But yeah, we just have some guys that are sick, and we just need to give them time to get better right now. And he's not the only one that, will be out throughout a lot of the week just trying to get better.
You mentioned the other day that you were happy with Bernie's flurry late, that you thought he could get a little bit better start. And I was curious if there's anything to do, or is there anything you can do in maybe his warm-up routine to get him, like how do you do that? How do you get him firing out of the gate in the first place?
It's just something he has to do and be willing to do. And I think he knows that his conditioning can be a factor for him because he's in really good shape, and obviously he's a great wrestler. But yeah, I think just being ready to go right away is a big deal, and just knowing and being confident that you can wrestle hard and keep scoring points throughout the 7 minutes and against some of the best guys in the country. It doesn't really matter. But I think he's getting that. He knows that. I think his conditioning is continuing to improve and his confidence is. But yeah, he'll be fine. He'll be good. You just got to finish your shots. That's not just him, but throughout our team. That's one of the things that if we can do a better job finishing shots, we'll be scoring a few more points.
Is there any worry at all about some guys not getting enough matches to get into the RPI and stuff?
You try to try to avoid those things, but we'll just wherever we end up, that's just what we're going to deal with.
Given where Starachi's at this point in his career, you mentioned obviously the COVID years, that type of thing. Do you guys talk at all or think at all about the streak, or how do you get him to erase that from? Because I'm sure it's probably the last thing from his mind.
Like his winning streak?
Yeah.
Oh.
How do you block that out?
It doesn't really matter because that's not really his goal. I don't think. His goal is to be the national champion. And until you mention that, I think I've seen that or seen that it's mentioned, but it's not really something that he should be concerned about. Hopefully he's not, but he was a guy he'd been sick for over a month. He's starting to get better now, thankfully, and kind of figured out what the problem was. And that's not my place to say, but he's a tough kid and was wrestling. But yeah, so I don't think he's not a guy he's just trying to dominate and be the best he can be every time he steps out on the mat. I don't think. I mean, of course, you want to win every match and you hate losing and all that kind of stuff, but I think he's a little bit beyond that. He's trying to score points as often and as he can when he's wrestling.
Is he a guy that when I guess I would assume, like, correct me if I'm wrong, if he's sick, he doesn't, for a period of time, he doesn't lose as much as like the average guy. You know what I mean? Like, is it easier for him to recover, and how has he adjusted behind the scenes to staying in shape while maybe not being able to wrestle at the level he's wanted to?
Yeah, I think it's frustrating for him just because he just wants to wrestle really well every time, and I don't know if he's missed any matches before this year, so it wasn't something he was really excited about. Obviously we weren't excited about it either. You want to have him in your lineup. But yeah, it is different. I mean, these guys are in great shape, and just their core temperature is on average lower than the general population. So you hope the doctors are. A small spike in their temperature is different than somebody just coming in off the street, and so we kind of struggle with some of that stuff sometimes. But yeah, he's ready to roll now. I don't know really what your question was, I guess, but he's going to compete. I mean, he's a tough kid. I mean, that's he's always been a ferocious competitor, and even when he didn't wrestle well, maybe he was sick, or maybe he just didn't manage his weight right, or sometimes you just aren't the best that day. He still gives a great effort, and that's he's a very, very special competitor.
Can you talk a little bit about what Baylor Shunk has mean to your team?
Yeah.
I mean, he's not one of the guys that's in the lineup regularly, but
yeah. I mean, he's always ready to go. He's always, he's wrestled, I think, several matches for us this year, and, he's very consistent. He's going to give a great effort. He's one of those guys that make the team better in a lot of ways. Obviously, he's a great competitor, but he's one of the, he's a peacemaker, and he brings people together, and, he makes the team stronger, and he's just a good guy, in addition to all the wrestling stuff. Just does everything right. So yeah, it's guys like Baylor that really pull teams together, and he's just very consistent in everything that he does, and just a straight shooter, honest, hardworking, consistent kid, and that's those are the people you really admire, and really appreciate having in your program.
What's an example of his peacemaking ability?
He's just good friends with everybody on the team. Doesn't matter where you're from, how old you are. I mean, he treats everybody with respect, and he's kind to everybody, and he just puts fires out. I think natural tendencies is just to throw gas on fires and things. He's a guy that if there's an issue, he's going to help address it and not feed it. So those would just be a few things. But yeah, I mean, everyone on the team would consider him a friend, that kind of a guy.
When you go into intermission against a team like Nebraska and a dual score is still relatively close to that point, do you tell your upper weights anything different, really, or just kind of?
No, I mean they know. I mean, we're ready to go. I mean, this year we haven't probably been, but in the past we've been behind and in tight scores with the same group of guys. So it's not that big of a deal. I mean, you can deal with a little bit of adversity, or it doesn't really change what they were planning on doing anyways. I mean, they're still trying to go out there and do their best and score points. So yeah, I don't think we're not back there panicking or anything, And if we get our butts kicked, we'll figure it out and learn from it. So it's win or lose, tomorrow's coming. So we're still just going to try to get better and do what we do.
Just a calendar quirk.
Coach, have there been any teachable moments over the past few weeks for Braden and Tyler, true freshmen in the starting lineup?
Well, I think the big matches are every time you compete, especially against a top-notch opponent, you're going to learn something. I mean, there's so much to learn. It's just you got technique, you have preparation, you have mindset. yeah, I think they're both learning and getting that experience is sometimes expensive, as they say, and it hurts a little bit, but it's also invaluable. So, they're two guys that have the ability to be right in the mix when all is said and done.
Is it just a calendar approach that conference teams are able to get a non-conference match in this week? NCAA first game? Usually you end up on a conference. Well, no.
Yeah.
It's later. This year,
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Yeah, we usually have a non-conference our last match. I mean, it's just kind of hit and miss, and usually we try to wrestle a local school if we can or something, but it's somebody that we can bring in. Edinboro was, willing and happy to come in, so it's the senior night stuff. We don't put a lot of emphasis in that because it's really not senior night. I mean, Saturday night, the NCAA tournament is senior night really for those guys, not this dual meet, but it is for the fans, and most of the fans, this will be the last chance they get to see him in person.
Should we expect everyone to be going on Sunday, or nothing? Anything you can tell us about that yet?
Yeah, I would hope so. I mean, we're still a few days out, so we'll see when we get closer. But like I said, we got guys that won't be practicing for a few days, still trying to get healthy.
When you were recruiting the senior class, is there anything that stands out that you're like, okay, I remember this from recruiting these guys, or anything from kind of those recollections?
I mean, it's a range of guys, thinking about who could be and who is a senior, and each story is unique, I think, and I think it's been a great group. I mean, I guess obviously the success that they've had would speak to that, but just a good group of kids that have been all in Penn State and wanted to be here and have done a great job. We just want to help them and see them through and help them reach their goals. I mean, that's what I think about every day, is just trying to help our guys reach their goals. And as they get towards the end of their career, some of them, every year, it's a new challenge, right? And even though they've been extremely successful, you want to see them go out the way they want to go out. But yeah, a great group of guys, families, very supportive, and it's been fun. But we still got a lot to do here.
Saw Van Ness walking in there.
Yeah.
How's he doing in his recovery? Still on schedule for you?
Yeah, he's doing really well. Dan monthly sings praises, so just he's ahead of where he probably should be, and you hate losing a guy like Shane. Obviously, the energy and just you're seeing where he was trending and how well he was competing, but it's going to be nice for him to feel good too, because he always kind of had that bum knee that was kind of an issue for him off and on, but yeah, he's ahead of schedule, and looking forward to getting him healthy and back in here every day.